All right, good morning, everybody. Today is Friday, September 4th, 2020. Okay, today is day 21 of my 25-day mental health challenge for Chris Achille Love Peace. Again, it's Friday, September 4th, 2020. I only have 4 days left of my 25-day challenge for mental health. This is pretty incredible that it went this quickly. Okay, my topic today, and it's a pertinent one because it's been a discussion for the last couple of days. I see this with parents, with teachers. Righteous anger or righteous indignation. It is okay to be angry sometimes. And that's what we're going to talk about, that it's okay to be angry sometimes. People want to look at your anger over a specific situation and then call you a bad person because you're angry about it. And we're going to talk about there's times you should be angry about things. There are times you should be indignant about what's going on. And we want to find out what the difference is between this righteous anger and this emotional sinful anger that people have. And that's what we're just going to try to talk about today. And again, not an expert, just giving my viewpoint. All right, so I'm going to start with a verse like I always do. It says, "A person's wisdom yields patience. It is to one's glory to overlook an offense." Proverbs 19, verse 11. A person's wisdom yields patience. It is one's glory to overlook an offense. So I'm going to take a look at this in two parts. A person's wisdom yields patience. To me, I thought it was pretty easy. Or the older we get, the wiser we get. Okay, as we get older, we gain wisdom, we gain patience. Why? Because we've seen more and we've experienced more in our life. Excuse me. And I think that's one of the things about experience. You definitely gain wisdom. You see more perspectives around you as you get older. It's easier to overlook offenses as you get older because you begin to understand the need for grace. We have all had instances in life where we needed grace from others. And so there are times that we have to give grace to others. And so, again, a person's wisdom yields patience. And then it's your glory to overlook that offense. Grace is about doing the right thing in spite of the offense committed against you. So even though you know what's happened is wrong, you're still going to show grace. You could still be angry about it. Absolutely. But that's what we're going to talk about. What is this righteous indignation? Okay, so here we go. Looked it up. Righteous indignation is typically a reactive emotion of anger over perceived or actual instances of mistreatment, insult, injury, or malice by another. And I think there's some very important words in there. A reactive emotion of anger. So you're reacting to something that's happened to you, some mistreatment, some injury, some insult, some malice by another person, where in most cases it's intentional. And that's why you have this righteous indignation, because they've intentionally done something that's mistreated you, insulted, injured you, dangerous, malice, possibly placed you in danger. And so all of a sudden, anger boils up inside you. And what they're saying, that's a reactive emotion. We're all going to have that. Okay, how you use that anger is going to determine whether or not it's righteous or unrighteous. Okay, so I'm going to use me again as an example. Finally got my 3-minute speech at the school board meeting. I waited over 950 days to speak, and I was only given 3 minutes, didn't make it. They told me to put on a mask, so I was afraid it was going to be muffled. So when I got up there, my voice was loud and it was stern. I know it was because it was meant to draw attention and emphasize the injustices that the Sarasota County School Board was overlooking. I wasn't loud and stern to be verbally abusive because I don't believe I was ever verbally abusive to anyone. And if you feel I was, call me out on it. This is what I'm saying. Like, I went back and looked, and I was definitely loud and stern, and I was pointing my fingers at people and calling them out. But I don't believe in any instance was I verbally abusive. And if you feel I was, please call me out about that and we could talk about that. But to me, that was righteous anger, is that I had people who had wronged me. Okay, I had been mistreated. I had been labeled a racist. I'm getting this malice heaped on me by Shirley Brown and Carolyn Zucker, these school board members who know nothing about what happened, refuse to look at the whole facts, just their own. And so, yeah, I reacted to that, definitely. But was I unjust in that reaction? Was I verbally abusive towards them? I don't believe so. And if I was, call me out. Okay. So now the key here, and we're going to talk about righteous understanding. The key to understanding righteous anger is knowing the motivation behind it. So if you see somebody angry, and okay, wow, what are they mad about? They stubbed their toe and they're screaming, yelling, cursing. That's not righteous anger. Okay, that's frustration, something that's coming along that way. Okay, so what they're saying is look at the action that precipitated it, that came first. What's the motivation? So if this man, John Russo, is standing at the podium with a loud, stern voice, okay, why is he speaking like that? What precipitated this in order for him to speaking with this loud, stern voice at people? Okay, well, that's what we need to find out because this to me determines whether or not the motivation behind it is correct. So, what precipitated this righteous anger? What came first? Look at that. Was it an act of malice or was it an accident? Okay, something, in a car, did somebody purposely cut you off or they just weren't paying attention? They cut you off by accident. Both times is equally as dangerous. Both times you're equally upset. But one person did it on purpose with malice to try to hurt you. The other person completely accidental. So even though you have the same reactive emotion in the beginning, what you do from that point forward will determine whether or not it continues to be righteous. Again, was their action purposeful or was it a mistake? Was it out of hatred or was it out of ignorance? Did they just not know? And so I think these are all the things you need to look at when you want to take a look at somebody's anger and determine whether or not it's righteous. Okay, so this is why it's a sound practice when you become angry to reach out and ask the opinion of your friends and family about what they have observed. So again, I just did this again today. If you feel as though I was verbally abusive in my speech at the school board, please give me specific instances of when and where that happened, and I'll address it. I'll agree with you or disagree with you. That's okay. I mean, we can agree to disagree. I can tell you why you're wrong if you're telling me why I'm wrong. But if you show me where I'm wrong, I'll agree with you. Okay, so again, it's a sound practice to reach out. Now, if you are truly righteous, I love this, you will be humble enough to ask others how they experience you. What a great term. How they experience you. Sometimes, how do people experience me when they see this? Okay, and that's the key. You got to ask them. You have to say humbly, listen, I know what I looked like at that school board meeting. How did you experience that? What was it like from your point of view? And again, if everybody's telling me the same thing, okay, then I need to go back and rethink what I did. Because obviously my friends are telling me something different than I thought happened. So it's always good to reach out to those family and friends. Now, again, this to me is the key. Righteous anger should not be verbally abusive towards anyone, but instead restorative to those who are listening. And that was my goal. I wasn't being verbally abusive to anybody. I'm trying to restore morality, guidelines, accountability back into the Sarasota County School Board. That's what we need to do. It's gone. It needs to be restored. It needs to be put back in place. And there should be righteous anger over this. This is our children that are unsafe. I want to talk about teachers and staff in a minute because I know that there's righteous anger from them. Okay, but let me just finish this thought. Okay, righteous anger should not be verbally abusive towards anyone, but instead restorative to those who are listening. Your goal is to not hurt or injure, but to draw attention to the unrighteous action. You can be angry, loud, and caring all at the same time. Angry, loud, and caring all at the same time, like we do as parents with tough love. Okay, so once again, drawing attention to the unrighteous action. Now, this is where our culture is backwards. The unrighteous action occurs, the person calls it out, and then they're being blamed as the person because they've called out the unrighteous action of another. And that's what we have some people doing. They don't like that I'm calling Trevor Harvey out is making an ignorant remark and calling me a racist. He did that. Trevor Harvey called me a racist without ever meeting me, without ever talking to me, okay, without ever finding out what happened. So, yes, did I have a reactive emotion of anger? Absolutely. But I wasn't verbally abusive towards him. I didn't call him a racist, okay? But he's acting like one, and he's becoming one now with this attitude towards me. I am being stereotyped because I'm a white man. Okay, that's a reality. And for people to just say, oh, you can't be stereotyped because you're white or you can't be discriminated against, you're white, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. And you need to look at both sides of the coin here. And I said this before, my righteous indignation comes from the fact that I've experienced African Americans being discriminated against in front of me dozens and dozens and dozens of times during my life. And I've spoken up and I've supported them. But now it's happened to me as a white middle-aged man who fits the stereotype of this person who is going to be against Black Lives Matters and all that. No, I'm the one who spent the last 28 years coaching, teaching, and mentoring African American kids. Me. Okay, so I don't want to hear that. Okay, I have an righteous indignation as to what has happened here. And I'm going to continue to speak out about it. And so that's where I'm going to move this for a minute to the teachers. I've been watching these teachers post and these concerned parents post. And teachers, you're being overwhelmed with doing two jobs at once. Parents, you're concerned about what's going on. Well, it's time to use this righteous anger and speak up at the next school board meeting. Teachers, if you want things to change, show up in the next school board meeting and tell the superintendent and the school board what's happening. Shirley Brown professes to be a friend of the teacher, even though her actions say she isn't. Her words keep saying it. Well, go to the meeting and tell Shirley Brown directly. This is what we need done, Shirley. This is the problem. And let's see if she does anything. Okay. And so that's righteous indignation. You don't have to be verbally abusive. Okay. What we can do is call them out and say enough is, Shirley had no problem putting out a post in the teachers thing about how funny she thought the overworking was for the teachers. And then people complained about it, and then they got mad at the people who complained about it. Okay, so Shirley thinks it's a joke that teachers have to multitask or overwork and stressed out. And so I write, Brown is a clown. Again, is that verbally abusive? I don't know. But what I'm doing is saying she's acting like a clown. Shirley Brown, our school board member, she is. She's there to help teachers and staff, and she's not. She just lets her personal biases get in the way all the time. So, yeah, there's righteous indignation over that. These are my colleagues. These are people who I've worked with who teach my kids. I want to make sure they're safe. I want to make sure they're protected. Okay, so I'm going to finish this up with a quote from Aristotle. How about this one? Okay, and this has to do with righteous indignation. And here's what it says. Anybody can become angry. That is easy. But to be angry with the right person to the right degree and at the right time and for the right purpose and in the right way, that is not within everybody's power. And that is not easy. So I want to read that one more time. Anybody can become angry. That is easy. But to be angry with the right person to the right degree and at the right time and for the right purpose and in the right way, that is not within everybody's power, and that is not easy. And so that's your goal in righteous indignation, to be angry with the right person in the right degree, at the right time, for the right purpose, and in the right way. And sometimes we accomplish that, and sometimes we don't. But don't give up. Don't give up on this righteous anger or indignation, because that's what creates change. Okay, so teachers, staff, it's time. Again, you got to speak up. You got to say something. I see you on these posts on Facebook. Please go to the school board meetings. Please continue to be vocal about what's happening in your classrooms every day. Okay, you have parents who don't understand what you go through, and then you have parents who do. And that's what I love. These parents who truly understand what you have to go through every day. But there's others who don't, and they never will unless you speak up, unless you tell them what's going on in a loud, stern voice meant to draw attention and emphasize the injustices that are happening. So you can do this. It's up to you. All right, so here we go. I'm going to finish up my 25 for the cause. Okay, I'm going to pump out my 25 push-ups for mental health, and I'm going to pump out 5 more push-ups for my new friend, Deb Markley. Now, this is interesting. I taught with a Deb Markley, and this is not the same Deb Markley. This is a new Deb Markley. And Deb Markley, you showed me what strength really is. You are a warrior, Deb Markley. You are a warrior, true strength. And this is what I love about people being sharing personal experiences with me. It just makes me understand how special some of the people are that I'm meeting here in Sarasota County that I've never met before. So this is pretty cool. So listen, happy Friday. Teachers and staff, parents, have a great day. But if you see something wrong at drop off, pick up, teacher staff during the day, it's time to speak up. It's time to say something. And so use that righteous indignation to call people out in a positive way and to create change. All right. God bless. Happy Friday and look forward to talking to you again.